immersed yourself in the conversations that we were having that were general and uplifting to all. And that in itself made me realize the kind of person that you are. It wasn't until we were at the Bob Marley Museum, the outside broadcast, that I put a face to the name and was told that you are actually a poet and DJ. I run around the Bob Marley OB so and beat you. Because all this time you did a yes, I talk about all manner of things. You talk about everything else except that point where you said, I see ya. And although I was mad with you, I respect you highly.
Mama, I didn't even realize that you were actually mad with me and mad at me. you disguised that very well. Trust me, you disguised that very well.
Oh goodness, you know, I was mad at you for a very brief moment because I'm thinking, whoa, why didn't he tell me? But immediately after, I understood exactly where your headspace was and respected you from there on.
And I am happy that it was a control madness.
I don't ever run your dog by the museum. All right. Anyway, so here we are now. The entire village, the community that we speak in every day, the internet family that you renamed the internet, they wanted to meet you. And that is a wonderful thing. And, you know, I just want to say enough respect also to the ones who have come chaperoned you. And another member of the internet family, the intellect family, made himself available.
Definitely. Trust me. I'm honored by that.
Yes.
Yeah, man, Mr. Fendi comfortable.
Yes. Fendi came here to give moral support, and I really love that. So the village wanted to hear you, and it is a joy for me to go heart, mind, and soul with you. All right, so let's start at the top. You were born at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, and your early years were in Kingston. Take us as far back as you can remember, young Richard, as way back as you can remember.
My earliest of years and my earliest memory. And this has always been at the forefront of my mind every day, you know what I mean, that I lived. I always remember walking through the streets of Jonestown, you know what I mean? And I always remember hearing music blazing through the jukeboxes. You know what I mean? I remember hearing Bob Marley song, you know, them I got tired to see my face, and Redemption song and Bad Card, you know what I mean? And I just remember the energy with the people at that time. And as a little youth, you know, the music, it just grab a hold of me, you know what I mean? And that is something that has always, you know, in my mind, keep resonating in my mind. And it has helped me through life to say, guess what? What I'm doing right now, this is the reason why I do what I am doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of the music came out of the streets that you said you walk on as a kid. So you were not just listening to music, you were actually living the experience that the musicians were singing of.
Most definitely, I was living it, and I was also experiencing things that were happening at that time. And some of the things that was happening at that time, these are the things that as a nation right now, Jamaica is now faced with, mm-hmm. and is now facing. Mm-hmm. But at that time, it was only confined to a specific area.
Wow.
As we could say, it was endemic to that area.
Right.
But now it has become an epidemic.
Yes.
Because it has now stretched out its arms and its legs, and it's everywhere.
Yes.
It has evolved into a monster.
They said from Tiffany Gardens to Cherry Gardens, you know.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And from Coral Garden.
Aye. Same way so. All right. So you clearly have vivid recollections of a child growing up in Jonestown. How were you raised and by whom?
Well, the whole thing about it, I remember being in Jonestown, Arnett Garden Jungle, Cook Street, you know what I mean, Puyat Street, Rodney Street, you know what I mean. I remember living by Pegasus because I was very nomadic. Mm-hmm. Very movable, always on the go. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the whole thing about it, I remember I was living with my mother and my father at one point in time. You know what I mean? And the energy was lovely, and also with my two sisters. You know what I mean? And from that moment, you know what I mean, and the old vibes and the old energy, as I said, I realized that this was basically setting up something that was to come.
Were you conscious of it then, or at the time rolling through the inner cities of Kingston? Were you even thinking, why am I here? Or were you always conscious that I am here for a reason?
I believe from that moment I knew that I was here for a moment, for that reason, you know, based on the things that I was seeing. Because, you know, I saw struggles, but in the meantime I saw people being together. You know what I mean? I saw bodies. I heard gunshots. I saw blood. I felt fear. I saw my parents' fear. I saw my sister's fear. And I felt that as well. But in the midst of that, you know what I mean? I was also enthused about it because I wanted to become it. I remember looking at persons who were in the area, in that community at that time. And these were persons who were very notorious. A lot of people can recall these persons. I wanted to be like them because I remember being in my school. You know, one of the school I attended, Jonestown Primary, and I remember looking from the window and I would see several of those notorious persons. And I just wanted to emulate them. These persons were basically like my role models. So most of the time when I hear things happening in Jamaica right now, and I hear the person saying that what the youth want to become, it is so easy for you being in that environment to become and wanting to become if you're not exposed to something else.
It is natural, I would think, too, you know, because, thank you very much, Crack. I was wondering when you'd come inside, yeah. It is natural, too, because, let us say, I know nothing else, and this is all I know. It is going to be very difficult as a child to come up with something out of your mind that you have never yet seen. So it is clear to me that children live what they see.
Most definitely.
And they live what they learn.
And that was the world that I knew.
And these men that you talk about had a lot of power.
Very.
And that's where the attraction comes. That's where the attraction comes in. But as a child looking on and seeing the mayhem and seeing the bloodletting and seeing the power that some of the people in these communities had, did it strike you at any time growing up that even though you wanted this kind of power, there must have been a better way?
To be honest with you, at that time, as I said, I was like engulfed with, you know what I mean, what I was seeing there. But as you're saying, you know, a part of me knew that, you know, I came here for something else. But at that time, these were my superheroes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? My Batman and the Robins and the Superman, you know what I mean? And the Spider-Man. You know, these were the characters, and I could see them. They were actually there.
Yes.
I could reach out. I could pass by and say, bless up. I could say something. And as a youth, that I was a precocious youth, you know what I mean, far much advanced. So these person, you know what I mean, seeing me there in the community, you know, from time to time, they would take on to me and say, yo, look at you, that one big man, you know. You know what I mean? So with them, you know, and that acceptance,
yes,
you know, you found yourself just wanted to just follow suit and to follow in that footstep.
A lot of people listening to this conversation might wonder about it. But for those who were raised in that environment, the people that you speak about here now, right? A lot of people think it was just all bad. But there, you know, people need to understand, when understanding what happens in the inner cities, that a lot of some of these notorious individuals that you speak about had moments of glory, had some amount of principle, and a lot of time it was some of the same in the street principle, bad man principle, that would attract some of the youth them. Tell us about that. And did you see any of that? And was some of that the reason that you were actually drawn to some of these people?
Most definitely, because, you know, the persons at that time who embrace the bad man thing and the rude boy thing, you know, they had principle, you know, they had discipline. They, at that time, they would not attack the church. They would not disrespect the people who goes to church. They would not disrespect the elders. They were the enforcers. They would protect us from neighboring persons who we would call our enemies. So these are the persons who stand guard for us, and these are the persons who made sure that we were okay.
And I'm hoping that those people who don't understand are listening, because this is the exact reason why people in communities protect these people.
Most definitely. And one of the things that you would hear about the big man, and the big man would be seen as the enemy. You know, so I remember when I went to country and started residing in the country, and I heard about people talking about the big man, and the big man and the big man. You know what I mean? They didn't even know the true definition of the big man, and they didn't know how deep to the youths in the inner city when they say the big man, because the big man is seen as the down presser. The big man is seen as this person that does not allow us to get any opportunity and allow us to rise. And the persons who they put there in that space, they are the contact to the big man. So because this person have the contact to the big man, then a lot of times people will listen to them and conform and obey them, because we have them among us, and they are the ones who are going to go to the big man, talk to the big man, and then guess what? Then we can get something to spend. We can have something to eat. We can get some work. Because I remember at that time we used to see the crash program, you know what I mean, being run. And you remember that big broom there? Yeah? We see the people them going out and using the broom and all of that. And they were all happy and excited about the whole thing. I remember my first recollection of politics was seeing a plane in 1980 flying over Arnett Garden with a big banner on it. I remember that so clearly. It's so big in front of my face up till today. And what was on that banner was, "Deliverance is near."
That sounds green.
Deliverance is near.
Anyway, all right. So, interesting. Before moving to the country, though, you moved a lot in a very short space of time in almost every Kingston inner city.
Most definitely.
Apart from the poverty, what else did you find to be a recurring theme within these communities and among these people, in something that you found to become amongst all of these areas?
Well, in all these areas, you know, what I could see, you know what I mean, we saw the same, you know, situation whereby we realized that the people were in need, and we realized that they needed opportunity. You understand? But one of the things that we realized that these were a set of people who were very, very resilient and determined, and they didn't decide that, guess what, allow the system to trample upon them and step on them. You know what I mean? So when I compare even today, the inner city or the garrison or the ghetto of today, I am seeing something else. Because what I'm seeing right now is that at that time, these people exude ambition. You understand? And this was a situation where they're saying, listen, we want the best. So you found out that the mothers and the fathers, they would decide that they're going to go out there, they're going to work, they're going to hustle, they're going to juggle, and they're going to make sure that the young ones get an opportunity to rise, you know what I mean, so that they can be seen and so that they can become the greatest and whatever they can be in a positive way, in a positive light.
Things have really changed because, like you said, I remember even that notorious man that we sometimes call, you know, accepted or criminal. I remember back in the day, that was the one who would use his unorthodox methods, as you say, to protect the church, to protect the school, and to protect those who needed protection. Now we see thugs burning down schools.
That's a disgrace. You know, as I was listening recently, and with the situation at Taki High School, you know what I mean, I'm saying I can't fathom, I can't understand why is this happening? Who are these people? You know what I mean? So my conclusion and thought is this: there must be people who are beyond, you know, the quote-unquote madness that we talk about, that Bellevue madness, and you know what I mean? This is beyond that. This is evil.
Yeah.
Because how can you go to an institution of learning, you know what I mean, where so many people from that space and that community, and just as you were saying, even within that proximity, that they don't have to take public transport, go here and go there, it's right there. what are they really thinking?
Yeah.
And none of them was there to say, because to go back, to flashback, in that time and this time, you would have had someone to say,
Love the people them school.
love it.
Just like that.
No. And guess what? Him knows a judgment would have been exacted.
Mm-hmm. You see, that's why we have to talk the thing them and put everything on the table, because you ask yourself, where are the community leaders? And who are these people now? Because some of the one them where you get rid of around here, would I take care of that?
Because it creates a vacuum. So, with that vacuum that is there are persons and elements who believe now that they are free to roam, free to be reckless, free to do whatever they want to do, and free to destroy because they didn't and they could not get that opportunity before.
That's what I realized. Well said. All right. Tell us if there are any of your most memorable childhood experiences while living in the inner city of Kingston. Any experience as a little boy running up and down through the streets of the inner city that you find worthy enough to not only remember but to share?
Mama, I remember being there. We used to play pop shot war. I don't know if a lot of persons in rural Jamaica know about pop shot. And we used to go down a Coronation Market and go get a pear seed. Because when you eat your pear, the pear seed, if the pear seed, go dash way. And the thing is this, you get your from the refrigerator, you get that piece of metal and you cut it and you get your wire. You know what I mean? And you get your wire and you shape the wire. And there are even some persons who get chair foot or table foot, because the bigger the chair, bigger the pop shot, it means that the more fear you drive out there. Some people are a little pen for them pop shot, but you see where that is going, Mama.
Yes, me see where it's going.
And the whole thing about that, we defend with little corner. We defend with corner with the pop shot. And we have a little pop shot wire. And I'm coming out of my home, Cook Street, and I didn't know what was happening. And as soon as I came out of the yard, about over 100 youth, Mama, them come up from down by a different lane. And I be a pop shot all over, Mama.
So, wait a second now. Remember the pear seed thing, but them chew the pear seed soft, then push it,
one end, and then the other end, and what it does, it creates a tension. And then you use the that wire. Some people would use even steel with the chair foot, and the table foot. And when them fire that, man, the explosion of your ear, and when that touch you, you're black and blue.
So a little boy, them come out by you, or what?
Everybody. All sizes, Mama, you have. Tiny tots, tiny.
So what that was about?
Biggest. It's just a whole thing where, you say to yourself, them say to themselves, yo, guess what? We have to have fun. We have to do something with the pop shot, because we're not going to shoot or eat a pop shot. So therefore you add pop shot wire.
But that's all like training for bigger things.
And at the same time, I also remember living in Graham Street, that's over by Ellison. You know what I mean, in the Kentire era. And I also remember one of the times some brethren from Upper Dunkirk decided to them come down Poway. And what we had to do, we had to go over by Ellison School. A gang of us. And so when they come into them now, go see, and when them come and fire out them pop shot, Mama, then we are going to retaliate and rush them back.
That is what is interesting, you see, as I listen to you. And I know we talk about these things even off the air. Do you think that in an attempt to protect oneself in a vulnerable situation, that is what led people to come together and ultimately form gangs?
Yeah, because the whole thing about it is this, just as you're saying, because you know that you're vulnerable and you know that what exists on the other side. Because when I grew, as I get older, I realize that the same thought process that I have on one side of the coin, this is the same thought process that was on the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I was saying, and my friends were saying, you see them down there and over there, so them are our enemy, they were saying the same thing. But then we realized that we were puppets. There was a puppet master.
Yes.
We were being suspended from strings.
Which was just too young to realize that.
Too young to realize. But we grasped, in the meantime, what was happening. Because then we would see stuff. And also remember, I had a yellow bag. My mom have a yellow bag. Suppose me tell you what me used to do in my yellow bag, mama.
Tell me. It might not
Me have the yellow soft bag, yellow than a yellow school bus. Yellow bag, mama. And you see my yellow bag? If you look on my yellow bag, on the outside of my yellow bag, you know what me have on it, mama?
What?
Me have M16, and me dry it, Me have chopper, and them gun, there was the gun of the day, You know Fendi? Them gun there.
But I mix up Fendi. Fendi said, no, me don't know.
Yeah, but you see, at that time, mama?
Yeah.
Just like now, when them talk about, those are the guns.
Yes.
So, we basically mimic what we see.
Yes.
So, I was drawing them on the bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see when you open my bag, mama, guess what in my school bag?
What?
You see my school book?
Mm-hmm.
What you thinking at?
What?
More gun.
More gun drawing.
More gun, mama, take over my book. Because of what I was seeing.
Absolutely. No, I love to talk this frankly because until everything is on the table, we can't solve nothing,
Most definitely.
So we have to put everything on the table. This is what you're seeing, and as a young youth, especially as a young youth with the dads them in the place, I say, boy, I'm going like him on money. You want to impress them for show them, say right now, yeah, man, a true man. So a damn thing that you do. And not only you, but can I just say this, and people need to understand this, oftentimes it was the brightest and bravest of youth.
Most definitely.
And therein lies the problem.
Definitely. Because these persons, they could find themselves operating in other areas and in other space. That's why it was so easy for them to be the leader in that manner.
Absolutely. All of this that you're saying is going to lead somewhere.
Most definitely.
And we're going to continue this conversation because I want our listeners to remember what you're saying, remember the kind of way that you grew, and as the conversation progresses, understand why you are so instrumental in doing the work that you're doing here now. All right, you attended Jonestown Primary, Freehill Primary in St. Mary, Santa Cruz All Age, St. Annie's Secondary, Lacovia Secondary, and at the end you attended Stets.
And I also attended Irish Delhi Primary.
Irish Delhi Primary.
Yeah.
What is interesting is that with all these primary schools, up until age 10, you couldn't read.
No, but I could write.
You could have write, but you couldn't read?
Could I write and write pretty?
So you could have write and you can't read?
Because me just write like the teacher write on the board, them give me the book. So me just write, because I realize that I can write. So I'm just writing.
Because you can mimic what you see on the board.
What I'm seeing. And I could draw.
We understand the drawing.
Yes. But I couldn't read because I remember clearly, and it was up to recently when my mother found out, she was like, she couldn't believe it. Every time when it reached after lunchtime and we had to go back to school, I knew then that I had to go back to read. It was reading time. So whenever time that day would arrive, my schooling for that day would end over. Right there. Because I was not going to go in front of that class because I know I can't read. But when the writing part come,
you go.
Me will go because I can't write.
Right.
But once it's reading day, me leave school, I'm gone. My mother had no idea, her father, where I was.
And did they know that you couldn't read?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But they made sure, to prepare my breakfast. We had our, khaki suit and my sisters are there, everything together and made sure. I remember the fried egg and the plantain and the pretty lunch kit.
That they would have tried so hard for me to have.
Yes, I remember that.
What was the motivation that you needed to not only become literate, but also to become a writer and someone who actually entered Stets, St. Elizabeth Technical? What moved you from a 10-year-old boy who couldn't read to a St. Andrew Technical student, St. Elizabeth Technical student? What was the motivation?
Again, it was music. It was hearing the music and fall in love with the music. And I said, this is what I want to do. But in order to do this, I realized that I also have to be able to write.
Yes.
Because then I heard the kids and the teacher reciting Song of the Banana Man.
Right.
By Evan Jones.
Right.
Louise Bennett and You know what I mean?
Right.
Colonization in reverse.
Right.
I mean, I hear all of them beautiful poems. So it was the spoken words, poetry. And it just consumed me, and I'm saying to myself, I want to be like this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then the whole thing about it, at some point in time, I realized that I found myself being able to identify some words, and one thing led to the other. And that's why I always say music, you know. Music is my school, because there's a song for everything. You can use a song and say, you know, like Everton blend a song, say, lift up your head and hold it up high.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can use song for every situation.
So you actually taught yourself?
Yes.
To read?
Yes.
And music was your motivation?
Music was the motivation.
So you would do that by yourself?
Yes.
In your quiet moments?
Yes.
When nobody knows that you're doing?
Nobody knew.
God bless you.
And as I said, I listened and I remember early B, one wheel, wheelie, make we wheelie. And when he must say wheelie, one wheel, and this is that, you know? And listening Papa Levi on the version, my God, making him name Jehovah, and the fast thing there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa. You know what I mean? I was blown away by music and the construct of music. You know, and I remember one of the time I went, I was in Craigtown, and I went over by a house, I don't know the gentleman, I was a little tat, and I saw the man with a mouth organ, and the man was there playing away, and it was so melodic. You know what I mean? So everything was about music.
Yes.
I also remember at one point in time going to look for my aunt, and she was married to a police officer then, but he was always playing his guitar, and I always wanted to go there because of this guitar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then I realized from that moment that music was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And played an integral part in who you are.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a break, and then when we come forward, we're going to be talking about you now as a youth advocate. We soon come. You know, I've been hearing this song for such a long time, and I never know Sir Richie Innocent sing this song here. Anyway, we have Cashpot coming up soon. But let us talk about St. Elizabeth Technical. St. Elizabeth Technical seem to have been very instrumental in giving you a platform to express your creativity. And for those who don't know, you were a member of the Teen Talent Star Search. You also played the Costa Cup for Steps. Tell us your experience with your English literature teacher, Miss Cornwall, because I know that shaped a lot of your future.
That was the conception and the inception of the DJ Poet.
Okay.
Because when I look back, I realized that this moniker that I now have, the DJ Poet, you know what I mean? I realized that, oh, this was it. I remember being in class, and Mrs. Cornwall, she came there, the English literature teacher, and she said she wanted to know who could put a song to the poem. The song was called The Ballad of an Old Man. Mm-hmm. And I remember one of my friends, you know, tried to do it and couldn't manage it so well. Forgive me blessings. Martin Cole is now a soldier. Mm-hmm. Bless him up right now in Afghanistan. Mm. You know what I mean? And I remember, you know, he made an attempt and the other kids declined to take up the offer. So then I said, let me try. And then I started, I'm like, you know, when I started saying, I'm like, this is the ballad of an old man. This is the ballad of an old man. There was an old woman who never was wed. Of 21 children was she brought to bed. She gave them all her poor means that she could afford, and brought them all up in the fear of the Lord. As soon as they grew up, each sailed away, one after the other to the great USA. Sometimes they thought of her, sometimes they wrote, sometimes they sent her a $5 note. And when in the case of the long waiting years, the letter C's coming, she dried her tears. And when the old shed roof collapsed from decay, she went to Arms House and walked all the way. And there she mothered many motherless brat who slept out the, you know what I mean? And then Miss Cornwall.
How old were you when you were doing this?
At that time, I was about 14.
Whoa, my goodness.
And Mrs. Cornwall began to dance.
Oh, my goodness. We have a Cashpot coming up. Hold on, don't forget that story. We have a Cashpot coming up. The words to music, and she started to dance. What did that do for you, Miss, and the class?
From that moment, I realized that what? I could take this thing serious because the youth, the student in the class, my classmates, were beating the desk.
That beat up desk thing come up again.
Yeah. They were there beating the desk. So, me, I get all type of rhythm. The latest rhythm, every kind of rhythm. And Miss Khan was there dancing. So it was the first time, that the students were actually seeing even the teacher dancing.
Absolutely.
So it brought this joy in the class. And everybody started to look towards me.
Yes. Immediately.
And they started to give me that energy. Because they couldn't believe that Richard Robinson made the teacher dance and could do this thing. So it seemed magical.
Yes.
And then at the end of that class, when I thought it was there, what I realized is that almost the entire grade 8, from 8A all the way up, everybody came to my class. They wanted to know who is the student, and they wanted me to do it all over for them.
So you started to perform now?
Yes. And then at the same time, because I entered States at grade 8, I left from Lacovia Secondary, now Lacovia High.
Right.
And they wanted to know who was this person. So the Grub concert, it was Grub week. So the first week, all new student, that is your L that you face at the school. So yeah. And they said, okay, him have to come DJ. Him have to come DJ in the auditorium. You know what I mean? So persons who wanted to beat up on you, this is your way of getting out. So immediately what Miss Carnwell did, rescued me. And then I go a Grub concert, write a song, say respect due to all Grubesses and all Grub man. Yeah? Because of what happened with Miss Carnwell now, I feel like I can't. Yeah? So I say, respect due to all Grubesses and all Grub man. Give us a warm welcome in a St. Elizabeth Technical.
Oh my God.
We don't want a eruption in this institution. Some youth are go like them, this Grub man, and I put board gun in our hand, and I tell you go shoot principal.
Oh my God.
Because they will give you like a board gun, and they give you something, and say, use your creativity, go over to Mr. Watson, we used to call him Shaka, go over to the office, bend down on your knee, and start firing.
What's a wicked set of picnic, man? Yeah. So that was part of grubbing?
Yeah, so me no get to do that, because I'm me the DJ. So me just mash up Grub concert, and then them say me for serenade the Grubesses that are the girls. So what they have to do now, they have to wind and go down and come up and place mash up. Yeah? So whether them like it yes or no, you know the little rose where you have, where the Dr. Bird always go and we used to take the thing there and put on it our nose.
Yes.
So them pick them and then bring them like you have 7 Grubesses that are the girls. So me now walk around and put them in
here.
Yes.
Okay.
And me feel big now like a superstar.
So that was a shot in the arm for your confidence.
Yes.
Immediately. And of course, I'm sure playing football for States didn't hurt.
Wow. Football. When you talk about football, even those who are listening right now, them know, say, boy, I'm crazy. Me is like a fanatic, even right now, in supporting States team. Trust me. You know what I mean? You see, football, sports, in general, it taught us discipline. Because when I left for St. Elizabeth, I always said that I was born in Kingston and reborn in St. Elizabeth.
Wow.
That's a rebirth.
Wow.
Because when I went to St. Elizabeth, it was a different world.
Yes.
Because, in the inner city, it is a world within world, that microcosm. You know what I mean? Many different energy. But when I went there, it was like, I always say it's heaven. I have to be quite frank.
Yes. Because
if I used to hear one shot, if I look down the road, in a car or drive, and we have to just say, when we see no light down the road or in a car, strange car, we have to move ourselves. You know what I mean? So when I started playing football, I had something to look forward to. You know what I mean? And from Lacovia Secondary, I represented Lacovia Secondary, went into States. Was a player by the name of Terry Jones, despite my talent, from the community which I was living in, Jerusalem. Jerusalem was the scheme. He said that, you know what, I want you to go there. And he approached my father and told him about it. And, in going over by States and see all energy and the brotherly love and that unity, you know what I mean? Trust me, it was so magnificent. And I learned so many things, from my coach, you know, I applaud up and applaud and everything, Mr. Wendell Dunswell.
I lie.
Express yourself,
You
Mr.
seriously?
Mr. Dunswell, because you played an instrumental part in development, part of something. Mr. Dunswell was the type of a person that, trust me, when you talk, at that time, you have a little fear, but then after that, you kind of get away, I say, and it had some humor to it. So even though it was, you know, directing its guidance and instruction toward you, at the end of it, when you begin to the down, you know, you started yourself and you fell
His words.
Yes.
Okay,
and bless when I see Nasha. Bless yourself. I remember when he came on GC Pastor College and that time, and he entertained it with us. Bless up yourself, Kasha. He's now an instructor at GC Pastor College.
You know, yesterday was Teachers' Day, and although in everything you have going at your body, we just bless up all these teachers who have had such a positive impact on young people's lives. We say that God bless you. So let's soul to soul. You have represented the youth of St. Elizabeth between age 10 to 18 as a youth advocate through a project operating out of the district called Youth Now. Your song, LOVE, was used by Save Our Streets, SOS, an organization in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. You also appeared as a guest performer for several schools. You have been telling us earlier on about, for want of a better word, your delivery. How has your experiences, and this is why I was saying to our listeners, listen to all that's in the early part of the interview, because it's tied together. How's the experiences, your personal experiences as a boy who left Kingston from to St. Elizabeth? How have all these experiences prepared you, Richie Innocent, to not just interact with youth, but interact with troubled youth?
It has become a mission. That has become a mission. And this is my life mission, because I knew what I could have become. I knew what I wanted to become. I said I wanted to become a police or a soldier. But the reason I wanted to become a police and a soldier, because I wanted to retaliate. A lot of people don't know that. I wanted to retaliate again because I said, if those on the side were my enemy.
So being a police, you would have had a gun?
Yes. So the thing about it was that was what I wanted. And being a soldier, I would have a gun. Remember that yellow bag?
Yes. Remember the yellow
now,
bag?
I realized in going to the country, now, I had different thoughts. I had thoughts of loving and kindness and sharing and respecting. I remember walking by and calling to people, say good morning and good evening. And I remember I would pass, if I passed Mama Elise 100 times in the morning, I would say good morning. And I remember my friend, a good friend of mine, his name is Isla Bash, and him look at me one day and say, when you say good morning, what time?
No, Bridget.
Yes, Mama. Because I was learning this new way. You know that, yeah?
And I was just saying, don't Bridget.
Yeah, you know. Remember going to, you know, where I go a bush, you know, as country people say bush. You know, people over there, you know, you have mango and cashew and all that stuff. As I started saying, the whole thing, it's tied, it's now my mission. You understand? Because I knew that I could have been a misguided youth and what I wanted to be. Because I remember when the general died, I cried. You know what I mean? I cry, Mama, I'm a ball and he say, the general went down. You know what I mean? My era leader. You know what I mean? And as we were saying earlier on, you know, they represent what they stood for.
Yeah.
You know, so I cry. So at the same time, I say, if I never come a country, I would realize that there is a different lifestyle. So then I realized that there are other boys out there in the same space who are now this and ongoing thing. You understand? So I said to myself, no, I have to talk to them. I have to now tap in. And I have to use music to do so. So I have to take my voice and use my voice after those early experiences. You know what I mean? And I say, kill people and all of them stuff there. And so I remember even once there was a DJ competition and Papa San came there to Santa Cruz and he was there DJing and doing him thing and all of that. And because he wanted to go. And the thing about that, they gave me the microphone after Papa San and I took the mic and I remember the song, you know me, that I did. And I said, give me the microphone and make me spread reality. And this is like DJ move from side of me. Give the microphone and make me preach reality and I'll give the DJs watching. That's some DJ in the country. It's like them never got high in our secondary, neither primary, Right? Neither all is nor secondary. Them only come a dance and describe own body. Talk about what is this and what is eerie. And who them lick your so and who them lick down a gully. And who dash with this and who dash with blee. When I know about woman is a different story. You hear who a gag and who a dandaddy, who dangerous and is very deadly. But what we need to talk is more reality. Teach the youth them about solidarity. Teach them about love and teach them about unity. We don't want no more notorious man in our country. And I could have called names.
I hear you.
Give me the microphone. So from that moment, and when I saw the way the people responded, I said, this is the pathway. Because if I had gone to do anything else, I would have sold out and I would have disappointed the youth them right now in an inner city space right now. There is a vast world out there. And sometimes what they need to do right now, they need to get the youth them together and make the youth them come to the country, come to the North Coast, come to the South Coast, you know, go check your granny. Go with friend, but when you go, you with a positive energy to get positive experience.
Absolutely.
Not all go down there when you say a song go on and you go ahead and run. You understand? Go down there with your own volition and your own will. So this is why music is my mission. And even when persons were telling me to glorify violence and sex, you understand? Forget a quote-unquote boss. I couldn't do it. You understand? And
so when you see this little youth, and when you hear the news I read, say a little 13-year-old youth find with a gun in a bag, immediately you think a little Richie, and you think to yourself, say, wow.
Could have been me, no, mama. I'll tell you the truth. It didn't my one, no. Nah, fit to talk. It didn't nice.
So no, just driving at the
No, at some point in time, because me look at you to a big man. When certain things are going on, you know, it's nice.
He said that?
And I mean, put it in nice, you know.
But it's in there. In there.
I want to hear say you can't go to school because of certain conflict that broke out. All of these things, mama, come rushing back. Because remember, I said a little boy there, a little boy, I left from a country, send it from things to send it. Whenever I hear the news, especially know what is going on, mama, sometimes I get scared.
But you know, so the mission on.
But the mission is on.
You are quoted as saying, I am going to come at a time when the youth them need me most. That time they come?
I have always said it. I may never stop saying it. And I even have a little friend, him always said to me, say, this is a youth of them always, they say him bad. And from time to time, him come to me and say, remember what always I say? Sometimes him text it to me. And when I look around me and I see what is happening, I see where I am needed right now. Because this is what I have been doing all along. And time and space have come. And this is the moment because we see where our young people have been misguided and been misled, you understand, in the name of acquiring material things. And the emperor says that advancement, spiritual advancement must go hand in hand with material advancement. So you can't be there telling the youth them that you can't say anything and do anything to get material things. And I've learned that, mama, you have fans who are enthused about you rising and becoming successful. I really want to see you genuinely and say, yes, me know him from my youth and him a try. But then you also have, I'm going to tell you this, you have now present, mama, fangs. F-A-N-G-S, fangs, that same thing that the snake uses to put that poisonous within you. Yes. You have people right now, mama, out there who say them are fangs. Them fangs.
Them actually sister.
No, let me tell you this, mama. They will cheer you on to jump from your mission, to do what is not right and say what is not right in the name of getting money. And then as soon as you have condemned yourself and you're no longer moving forward, they jump from you and jump to another youth, you understand, bright prospect, and to say to that youth, say anything out of your mouth in Jamaica, do anything in the name of dollar and getting dollar. So they would say that to me that, you know what, boss? You need to say something. I tell them, mama, that's why I love the song where Chronic say, them talk about boss. I did not come here on a bus. I came here on a mission. The moment I was born, I've been on a mission. I have been moving. And I keep moving, and I still keep saying things to persons. I didn't have to come on a microphone. I didn't have to sing a song. Because I always have the ability to go on the corner and talk to the youth, for reason with them, to say something to them. Because it don't have to be this grand thing. You understand? To say, yo, guess what, I'm up there. Because some of the people, as I told you, that they are fangs, they're poisoning you as well. Because they want to itch on the side and come and say, me a part of this thing. And
something,
and
Richie?
if you follow them, you also find yourself getting a reputation, and that reputation becomes very destructive, and the consequences very severe.
For those who want to enter public life, because there are many people who want to be famous, who want to be out there in the world, who want people to know who they are. May I use this opportunity to advise you to know yourself before you go there. Because if you don't know yourself before you get popular, people are going to take you and make precky.
If you don't know yourself before you get popular, mama, may I rhyme it up, mama. You have a whole heap of Dracula.
You stay there.
Remember that. And you know what Dracula do?
Suck blood.
Yeah.
Good.
And make your waste away. So as you were saying, I am seeing where the youth them need to talk. And I'm going to tell adults there right now. Whenever time you see the youth and you see they're moving wayward, don't be afraid to speak to them. Because I remember it was an adult that spoke to me. You understand? When I was wearing my grandmother's trench coat. You understand? I remember seeing the brethren them in them trench coat, and trust me, look so good in a mama, because I only see it in a cowboy movie, Jesse James, them and them.
Favor Elliot Ness.
And when, yeah, mama, the Dick Tracy, and when me go see my grandmother of trench coat, mama, me take the trench coat out of the house and say, thank the Almighty.
Take away mama
and
trench
while
coat.
my grandmother asleep, me in the trench coat, mama, and I walk on the side of the road, and I set me on like say, me have a high-powered weapon in it. And it was an adult that saw me and called me and saved my life.
What did the adult say?
He said to me, listen to me, I noticed that you're a very good football player. I always watch you playing football. And you see what you're doing right now? Your grandmother don't know about it. It can be dangerous. He said to me, Mama, I remember, like it is just now. Him say 4 police children on Oliver Road. 4 young men. I don't want that to be you. I don't know the man's name. Every day I always remember about, I don't know his name, I don't know if he's alive, I don't know if he's dead. But I said, that gentleman there, that is a gentleman that spoke to me. And I always said, even while I was in youth now and going around and talking to young people, I always said, I always tell the adults, don't be afraid to talk to them. And they're like saying, they're going to tell you all kind of colorful cloth and all of that. So that is the least of your fears.
The least.
Because guess what? Them used to use those words, but now you see what it has evolved into.
As long as they remember what you say. And you have to just know how you're talking to them. You're talking to them like a your picnic.
Most definitely. You can't have this approach where, you can't use to solve a situation, you can't condemn it.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to use diplomacy, and you have to have that real and genuine love within you. You have to be that people person. Most time I see youngsters on the road, in the plaza, in the mall, and mama, I see them like tight. Not even ear can go between them. I'm going to just approach them and just start a conversation and I start talking to them.
Instead of saying, why don't I let go on one another? Immediately from you start talking to them have to let go them one another.
Yeah, just start, and mama, immediately them start look at you and you start show them certain things and the responsibility and and you kind of use that energy and mama them feel it.
Of course they do.
The youth them have sense, And this thing when them say the youth them incorrigible and the youth them can't be brought back together. Trust me, the youth can. So in the first place, for us not to bring them to that part, then we need to play the role that we need to play from day one.
We need to be parents.
We need to play that role from day one. Show them the right way, teach them the right way, let them know the right thing.
You know what I have found, Richie? I have found that although you're going to have the kind of child who will take offense to you talking to them, I have found that most youth love attention so much that you see any kind of attention you give them, then good with it. Never going to take it, yes, man.
Mama, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share something with you. And I'm going to share it with the listeners. I remember this gentleman. He was on the side, on the gangster side. He found himself in a situation where, he committed a murder that we knew about. Everybody knew about it. It was in the news. And I remember, several nights and in the days as well, he was there talking with us. And he was saying, look at what I did. He said, there's a thing called self-control. And had I exercised self-control, I wouldn't have been in this position. Because I've been a gangster for so many years. And he said, look at who I am now wanted for. And he said, let me tell you something.
Never worth it.
He said, you see, parents need to be parents. Mother and father need to talk to their children regardless. Don't give them that way to do as they like. Speak to them, correct them, and let them know that this, because he said, if I had that opportunity,
you wouldn't be where you was
I would
today.
have done much better.
Yeah.
Someone said to me recently, he's blaming. But I said, look beyond blaming. He's saying something that I can learn from, and the youth now can learn from.
And parents. You know, the theme for this year, this Child Month, is parents take responsibility, break the cycle. Some parents want too much to be their children's friend. And you need, first of all, to be the responsible parent. After you've parented, then you can be the friend.
Keep a balance, strike a balance.
Absolutely.
Strike a balance. You can be the friend, but you're not going to be a friend that will mislead.
Absolutely.
Remember, you have peer pressure.
Yeah,
so
man.
why are you going to be a friend, but a friend that mislead your child? So strike that balance.
Yes.
You're a friend, but a good friend. You're a mother, father, a parent, but a good one.
Yes. Okay, in our daily conversations, what comes across is a naturally gifted soul. And even speaking to you now, the world can hear that you are an inspired soul who is open-minded. And what I love with you is your tolerance. My question is, who is Richard Robinson when you are all alone and not listening to anybody's opinion? When you're only listening to your voice, who are you?
Richard Robinson. Mama, it takes so much. When I'm in that space and in that zone, I'm always there saying to myself, I want to learn more. I want to know more so that I can do more. And do more for my community. To do more for my country and for the nation, because what I'm seeing. So I'm always preoccupied with getting information and getting things that I can disseminate and put over there to bring about behavioral change. I always want to help to develop myself so I can develop others.
How do you express your spirituality?
My spirituality, trust me, Mama, I try to take from everywhere. Because to me, good and goodness is what we need. And love. L-O-V-E, where are you? Where are you? Because of lack of love, the world is hurting for you. L-O-V-E, where are you? Where are you? So many profess to love and still they know not a clue. Because of lack of love, the world is hurting for you. So many profess to love, but it's just I love you. Love is what I embrace. You understand? Love is an embrace, and I try to take whatever I can take, wherever it is. I don't try to discriminate against literature and to discriminate against whatever religion you practice, as long as I can take the positive. Because the positive is all positive, and the positive can never be negative.
Right. So what you're saying is that you don't have a particular religion, but you take from every religion, or do you have a particular?
I take from, but I am mostly driven by, and I can say this right now, Rastafari, as a youth, also played that integral part in shaping me, because what Rastafari and Rastafarianism gave to me was my identity.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people right now who are lost because they don't have an identity. The only thing they have is hallelujah, amen.
Yes.
You understand? And nothing is wrong with hallelujah, amen, but who are you?
Who are you?
What are you? And that is why that person who is there leading the flock is misleading the flock. And that person that is leading the flock is busy saying that you got to do this and got to do that in order to also to play that manipulative role. So I remember going to church from my early year, in my early years, and I remember them showing the burning hell. And it was the burning hell, a lot of people know about it, where it shows people get crashed and dying and go to hell and fire burning them, and they're telling you 2,000 judgment will come. And at the end of the burning hell, 3/4 of the young people, let me see them mama gone, say them want baptized. It didn't happen to me. Because from that moment, I realized I have a mind of my own. You understand? To try to search and to seek. And I always say, I thank God. You understand? I thank the Almighty. You understand? And once you call upon that Supreme, whoever the name or whatever the name is, as long as you don't hurt your neighbor, and I don't hurt Mama Elise Kelly, I don't hurt my friends, then that is the religion that we should practice.
The religion is love.
The religion is love, just as Ziggy said, love is my religion. Because if you have love, then you wouldn't be killing in the name of Christianity.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be killing in the name of Muslim, Buddhism, all of these religions that are there.
And if you love, you will preserve life.
You have to preserve life. Because life is the greatest.
Absolutely.
Because with man creating, no man has ever created a blade of grass. Only artificial.
Mm-hmm.
So with all these manipulation that is happening, the Almighty is the one that is responsible for us. We didn't have a say in that. When we were coming in, I did not book my journey here.
Mm-hmm.
You did not book your journey. The listeners did not book. So, and we did not book also the departure date.
Absolutely.
So what we have to do in the meantime, in that space, is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
You know, there's a question that I was going to ask you, but throughout your entire conversation, you've answered it. I was going to say that, you know, you're an artist, but respectfully, that alone is not a mission. You have answered the question. I don't even need to ask you anymore. You have totally answered what your mission is. And my next question to you is this. What makes you laugh until your side them hurt you? And when you top laugh, you start laugh again so till your belly bottom cramp.
What makes me laugh? Yo, mama, you see, we have some things in Jamaica. Jamaica people, trust me, the best. You know, and more time they up on your corner and thing. Sometimes the man them come up with some joke. You know, and you say, they're very ingenious, you know. Oh, they come up with them things. And sometimes a reality, you know. They use the reality. They use that reality to give you that joke. And because you see around you what is happening, you basically see the joke there. And you see who the joke is on. Mm-hmm. So whenever time you get the joke, you understand, from my Jamaican people, I be a laugh. You know we have a thing with IT them and fancy cat them and you see them go on with the thing and Oliver Samuel and Titus. You understand?
Right.
You know, then we see them. These are the people we grew up and, you know, Oliver Large come straight up, you know.
Right.
So people love to laugh, you know.
For real.
Most time I listen to your mama, I hear you laugh, I start laugh.
You know something, Richie? There is nowhere else me ever go. Probably it's because it's not my culture. But there's nowhere else me ever go when me get so much joke like when me there Jamaica, you know.
Whole joke, mama. I was listening to a program the other day and you said that you went abroad and my friend was saying to you that Jamaica could export jokes.
That's true, man.
And would I make a whole heap of money?
Hey, you remember the other day me tell you a little man, a civilian, push a police bike?
Yes.
Me say it's like
right around the gas station.
The most I know easy, you know, so that day he make me say a police now push a police bike and jump on the back and said, so two police. Now what you know, it's when me I drive past, me see the police look at me like him and say, no, son, no, mama, I hope she's there. God, bro.
Going into Kingston. And my friend come up when I look. Mr. Sakya, I be down on the highway. And as I just passed by, I look up and it's message on the screen, mama. Overdose. So I say, you see what I go on? And then I was listening to music news with Kashima and Bones.
Yeah.
And I hear Bones talk about a situation similar to that. Yeah. And I start laugh. Because I say, him see a man with a car, but the door a different color, the bonnet a different color. Every part of the car different, all look wheel them different. And him span the car, gets up on the car.
Okay.
Not for sale.
I was next idiot, that was there boy. So these are the things that just natural.
Just laugh, don't place, mama.
Yeah, man, yes,
and trust me, you see Ron, with the theme, brother, dog, and all kind of thing, they're very innovative.
So people like them idiot, they make you laugh.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm an idiot. Go set me up, mama.
You can't say so.
Yeah.
Oh, my figure say I'm coming from Mota.
Yeah, Ruta, I'm saying the Ruta. Yeah.
So these are the simple things that make you laugh.
I go on with Jerus and all of the things from them time there until now. I trust me. I ever sit in and listen because Iriefm is more than a radio station.
It's true.
Iriefm is that institute that will not go anywhere.
Why one morning me never there work and me hear the man tell brother dog for vice out. And they must Anyway,
mama, as you talk, me say when run off brother dog gonna go and the people tell me now sentence say, boy, imagine all dog bust before you.
They might talk about bus. All right. What are you? Final question. What are you looking forward to?
Mama, that is such a wide question.
True.
That is such a wide question.
True.
Because we could compartmentalize them. We could, be specific and all of that. But what I'm really looking for, most important to me right now, is the whole thing about what Jamaica is facing. The condition that we're facing. We have to get a hold of ourselves. We have to come back to that good old days. We have to come back to the time when we used to love and we used to share and we used to care. You know what I mean? We need to come back to that Jamaica where, people use of vibes and all of that and not living in no fear. Because right now we have people living abroad from the diaspora who wants to come home. Some of the people have come home and them decide to pack up them things and leave and gone back in the cold and they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. So I'm calling on the Jamaicans right now, my fellow Jamaicans. I don't care who you are. Whether you're a gangster down there or you where say you want to become or whatever. I call upon you to just find it within yourself, within your heart, to just tell yourself you want Jamaica to be the best place. Because if you have your home and you destroy your home and you decide that you want to go to another person's home or come to my home, I cannot allow you there. I cannot welcome you there. Absolutely. Because you're going to mash up my place. So I'm saying that to say this. That is why when you go to the embassy and apply for a visa and say you want to go away, you have to go through a lot of processes, a lot of questions have to be asked of you. But if you begin to elevate Jamaica as a nation of decent people, law-abiding people, I wish I know that we are, and loving people and care people, and talented people, gifted people, just like Usain Bolt them, and Shelley and Fraser, and Veronica, and Asafa Powell, all of them. I can't all of them names. So just like the athletes represent us, and they represent us, and there is no divide. You understand? This is how all of us need to start thinking and start dealing with Jamaica. Make Jamaica open back that everybody can come when it's holiday and everything. And we live like nice people the way a family should live. And make people want to come to Jamaica. And I want to say to the leaders, just show the people some interest. And the people in return will show your interest. So when you speak about interest, the people know it is for their own interest. So in the people that the country first, they need respect. You got to show the people respect for respect. And you start doing all the changes that I make. But make Jamaica make a giant step. You understand? So the only minister we need also the Homeland Security Minister. You need to take care of all aspects of the crime and violence and the people as well. You understand? This is not only the security minister, it is all of us. We all should have vested interest in the safety. You understand? Of ourselves. Love self, man. Be up yourself, and people always love us all over. And so just me put out the black, gold, and green, or the red, gold, and green, and put a culture out there because let me tell you something. If you don't have any culture, you are soulless.
Yeah, man.
You are nobody.
Soulless.
Less. S-U-L. L-E-S-S.
Yes.
Soulless. And nobody will count you. No one will regard you. And that stigma will be attached on you that you are the scum. Mm-hmm. And the scum of the earth. And Jamaica are great people and proud people. Sebab them come and do it. Burning Spear them come and do it. Understand? Dennis Brown they come and do it.
We're not scum.
We could go on. We're not scum. We are great people. We're the greatest people.
Straight up.
Everybody wants to be like we. So
fast now, Richie, because time I run out my way. And the amount of people who want to talk. Final thing. Is there anything that you want to say that we have not yet said? Is there anyone that you want to bless who you have not yet blessed? Very quickly.
Bless up my disciples then. Bless up the disciples. Bless up those who believed in Richie Innocent from them time there. We have a saying, mama, them call it BEK. You know what BEK mean abbreviation? Before Elise Kelly.
Please.
Before. These are the persons who would give me wings. The wings beneath my wing and would give me that kind of word and then I say, believe in you. Push yourself. They didn't use criticism to try to tear me down. You understand? These are my family. Bless my mother, Maxine Grant. My father, Daniel Robinson. My sister, Annette Robinson, Sandrine Robinson. Annette Robinson, Sandrine Robinson. You understand? More of bless up youth like shut up. No, y'all live now every day for Mama Elise thing. Burro, Shaga, the baller. Bless up yourself. What you mean? I will say bad in Santa Cruz. I will say Ja, Loke, bless up yourself. Josie, you always there, I drive and you tell me, say, youth, make sure you're not depend on negative part because I'm not going to drive, you're going to, if you have them bag of people. You understand? You always have to go up on the part there. And more want to bless up. There's so many people, as we say, everyone who help to play the role. Brimstone, big up yourself. Cashoman, big up yourself. You understand? Big up my kids, them. You understand? You don't know. Best up their mother as well. You don't know. All the persons who are playing that role and the energy in my life, continue playing the role. And we say, to those who are out there, if you see someone out there and see them do something positive, just help them do the positive. Because I've said that a king get honor in his country and him own a household and among his own. But I want him to reconsider this thing. Because them say Christ said it to me, that I go on with him. And not because Christ said it. You have to come rewrite Bible too. You understand? If your sister Elise Kelly have that bright spark, who shy too? If you see that youth, regardless of who the person is, not because him come from in your own space. Now look down upon the youth, man, push the youth. Now wait till you see him up there. And then when him up there, you go run, come, hang on. And I hang on and I say, all along you have been there. Show him the love, the man. Accept him. You understand? And bless up yourself, man.
Give
all the people, them DJ Fresh, you don't know. Hey, youth, if you don't know hear the name, don't feel no way. The whole of Santa Cruz, the whole of St. Elizabeth, Kingston, bless up yourself, because you don't know what you said, me go down the country.
All right.
You understand? Everybody. I'm more as I say, bless up everybody. You understand? Bless up kids, them mother. You understand?
All right.
And
well, watch
bless
this
up
now.
Marvia. Bless up everyone.
We have come to an end of Heart, Mind and Soul to Soul. And I'm sure, Richie, the people need to speak. They are the ones who said, Mama Elise, we want to know more about Richie Innocent. I am the one who said to them, it is my pleasure. I'm going to leave with a quotation from your graduation. It says, don't lose way. With each passing day, you've come so far. Don't throw it away.
Don't. That was my graduation song.
Yes.
Isaac, big up yourself. Lippo, Walla Breeze River, Jerusalem Housing Team, bless up on yourself. Buena Vista, bless up on yourself. And remember, stop saying that no good can come from no place. Good can come from anywhere, and good can come from everywhere. So you don't know. Ingrid, bless up yourself.
You know why?
My sons, Ricky and Kivu.
Okay, Ingrid, forget how you go by your main.
Yeah.
All right. So this is how we say so long. Once again, thanks for a very inspiring conversation for the people who wanted to know if you're a professor or a lecturer on campus. Now they know that you are a teacher in your own right. You're a youth advocate, and you have something that them call the authentic, because you've been there, you have done that, and now you can say to others, this is the way to go. Thanks again, Richie Innocent.
And bless up GT Taylor, Mama.
All right, my dad.
Bless GT Taylor.
All right.
GT Taylor played a very integral part as well.
All right.
You understand, in the whole team. Remembering, 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 remembering.